Call the October 22nd City Council Committee of the Whole meeting to order. The clerk will call the roll.
Borowitz.
Here.
Alderman Brooks and Alderman Crawford will be absent. Frank.
Here.
Freeman.
Here.
Porter.
Here.
Ratcliffe.
Here.
Sanderson.
Here.
Snow.
Here.
Stevens.
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. Before we get rolling, about 30 minutes ago, we received a phone call. The team for Plody Quarry, 2 of their members are unable to come tonight, so that item will be stricken from the agenda. Although those of you that came tonight to make public comment will be informed when it's back on the agenda, and we will be happy to have you come back at that time to make public comment on that issue. Yes.
Oh, does that back everything up to the next committee meeting and then back up everything else?
Yeah,
Okay,
it does.
thank you.
Sure. So next up, under public safety, this evening we have none. Under public safety, new business, we have none. We do have one of our aldermen who wishes to speak about something about sister cities. Wendy Frank, please.
I just wanted to comment on behalf of Sister Cities. Yesterday, we went to Harvard to Heritage House for the German dinner, and I wanted to inform the public or anybody that would like to join. Next year, in July, we're going to Germany.
Okay, thank you for that. Under public safety, new business, we have 2 items this evening. Item A, Fire Department cardiac monitor presentation. Who's doing the honors tonight? Oh, well, come on up. Do you need a volunteer?
No, I should be all right.
Yeah, I volunteer. I
Yeah.
trust these guys in my life.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name's Lieutenant Burdick with Belvidere Fire Department. I've been with them 18 years. I'm tasked, Lieutenant, and I'm also tasked as our EMS coordinator. So Chief Heiser asked me to stop in tonight and present. We're looking at getting upgrading our cardiac monitors that we currently have. I apologize, I did have a PowerPoint presented, but the cables are not compatible. So I believe everybody has the attachment for that. So I'm just going to follow through. If you want to follow through, I'm going to go through that. To start with, this is the current LifePak cardiac monitor that we have. We have 4 of these. 3 of them are 16 years old, and 1 of them is 12 years old. With that, their company's phasing them out. There is a newer model with this, and we are no longer able to get parts, replacement accessories, and that type of thing. So if something goes wrong, it's kind of a piecemeal trying to go through third parties. Even like eBay, we've had some luck finding some replacement parts. So definitely, these have their lifespan has been met, and we're looking at getting some new ones with that. For fiscal year 2019, we worked with the chief. We have $75,000 budgeted for replacement for these monitors. And if you go to the next page, just some facts about from the American Heart Association. About 475,000 people die each year in the U.S. from cardiac arrest, and pretty much that is, for cardiac arrest, it's your heart has some malfunctioning, it stops beating, that type of thing. Of those, 350,000 of them occur outside of the hospital each year. So a good majority of those do happen outside of the definitive care facility. And globally, cardiac arrests claim more lives than cancer, breast cancers, flu, pneumonia, auto accidents, HIV, and even house fires combined. So it is a big epidemic, something we want to stay on top of. It's preventable, but when things do happen, we want to make sure we have the best equipment to be able to handle that. And if you look since January of 2017, we've responded to 18 adult cardiac arrests. I didn't include pediatrics or any type of DOAs. And by DOA, I mean we go on scene and the person has passed, or we don't need our monitor or don't perform any definitive care from there. So with the outcomes of those arrests, it's sometimes it's harder for us to find out. I don't have the results on those because we do hand off the patient after we've done our treatment to Lifeline. They go to the hospital, so we don't always see the end results, unfortunately. So if you go to the next page, right now there's currently two people in the market. This one right here, which is Physio Control, it's called a LifePak, but the adult company is Physio Control, and the other one's Zoll. So the newest monitor out from the LifePak is 2010. The newest monitor out from Zoll is 2012. So those are the latest, best technology on the market from those years. Like I said, currently we have 4 of these. What we're looking at doing It's such a big cost to buy 4 of them up front. We're looking at getting two cardiac monitors and 2 downsized AEDs for our apparatus that aren't running 24/7. Now, by AED, everyone's seen the AED that we have out in the hallway here, correct? This is an in-between there. So there's more. It's not just you put it on and push button type of thing. There is some monitoring. We are able to monitor the heart rate with that as well and do some more intervention. So it's not just like a plug and play for the fire service. It's an AED that's made for the fire service that allows us to maintain our paramedic level status on our apparatus, even when we're not running them. So with this, I talked with the chief and other members on the department. This is the most cost-effective plan with the equipment that we have and based on the budget that we have with this. And what we're looking at with the lifespan of at least 10 years out of all this equipment, I've talked with both companies, their reps, and there's nothing new in the market right now. There was a third company, Philips. I'm sure everyone's heard of Philips. We actually have all their AEDs, and that's what we have in the fire department. They make a great AED, but they had some issues with their cardiac monitors, so those are no longer being produced, and they're working on themselves doing coming up with a new one, but that's probably 2, 3, 4 years out from there. So we did have a demo of both of these monitors. The reps came in to our shifts, went through both of them with us, you know, the features of it. We had some firefighter input. I kept the chief up to date on what's going on. The quotes for these. So from LifePak, with the 2 monitors that look just like this, fully loaded top-of-the-line monitors, and 2 of their AEDs that are made for firefighters, the quote was $56,299.52, as you see on your sheet. For the Zoll monitor, I wasn't able to get my hands on one of them, but with that unit, for the same thing, 2 fully loaded monitors and 2 of the firefighter AEDs, you're looking at $72,455.56. The biggest discrepancy or disparity in those quotes was a trade-in value. Obviously, if we went with the LifePak from Physio Control, they give us a little bit more of a buyback on our monitors because we'd be going with the same rep type of thing. But where we really save is in our maintenance. All right, I think I've been in our EMS coordinator about 3 years, Chief, I think. So before that, these monitors were aged, and we were paying a pretty good a service fee. I went back. Right now, we've been averaging about $1,500 a year for service because we downsized. There's not a whole lot we can do with these. It's more of a come in, they check them out. But on the years past, we were paying $3,100 to $3,500 just for annual maintenance for them to come in and look at these. So where we really save money is over the 10-year life. The new updated service fee from LifePak would be $24.88 per year, and the Zolls would be just $500 per year for them to come in, service them, and make sure they're updated with the latest software. So if you look at the difference there, over 10 years, which would be the lifespan of these monitors, $24,880 versus $5,000, you're saving almost $20,000. So in the long run, it's definitely a little bit cheaper to go with the Zolls. You just have that little bit more of an upfront cost. After talking with all the individuals and everybody on the department and seeing both monitors themselves, we are recommending going with the purchasing with the Zoll monitor. We thought some of it's newer, lighter, there's better feedback with it, there's some improved functions on it that we don't have with our current monitor, and if you turn the page, we can cover some of those. To start with, it's military tested. It has an IP55 rating, which I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. It's ingress protection on there. So there's 2 different numbers. The first number goes to 0 to 6, and this one has a rating of 5, so that offers a pretty good dust protection. And the second number goes from 0 to 8, and that's water protection. So this has pressure, they call it protection against jetting water. Now the other 2 monitors are rated in IP44, so that's they can allow in some more dust, some bigger particles, and then it's more of just a splash protection and not like a jetting water protection. Where the Zoll monitor really shines, if you go down, they have a couple different things available to us. A CPR interface screen, which we'll talk about in a little bit. What that does is when we're doing compressions on a person, we see what we're doing on the monitor, what their heart rhythm looks like based on us doing compressions. What Zoll offers, there's a second line. So as we're doing compressions on those patients, you can see an underlying rhythm. So we actually see what their real heart rate would be if we weren't doing compressions. It has a filter on it. Now, a couple things that does. The American Heart Association stresses continuous compressions. They want us to minimize stopping compressions as much as possible to keep that blood flow. And second, what it does, it allows us to see something right away if we did have to intervene, maybe if somebody's heart rate changes, or they maybe start to get a rhythm back, or they go into a shockable rhythm, we can notice it that much quicker and intervene and act on behalf of the patient. So there's some QA, quality improvement, that we can do. They have some software, so after we do finish a call, we can actually download information from those monitors to a computer, and we can get some user feedback. So see maybe where, it'll show you where there was a pause in care. Maybe we were moving that patient, maybe something happened, maybe something came off. So it kind of allows us to critique our calls and become and do a better job, on future calls from that. So Both the LifePak and the Zoll offer CO monitoring. What that is carbon monoxide. So all that is just a sensor you put on your finger. It's especially useful for firefighters as well as our patients, because through rehab, if we did happen to maybe take in some smoke or be in an environment we're not supposed to, it can actually monitor carbon monoxide levels in our bloodstream. All right. So obviously we know we don't want any carbon monoxide in our blood, but so that's good for rehab purposes for firefighters as well as for our patients in diagnosing them. The capnography. What that is, it just measures it's hooked up to their breathing, so whether they're intubated or whether they have some type of oxygen device on, it measures the amount of carbon dioxide they blow off. So everybody knows we have carbon dioxide in our body, and when you have good cardiac output and you're got good oxygenation, then when you're expelling that CO2, and then measures the levels to make sure we're adequately doing good compressions and we have good ventilations going with our patients. The other advantage to the Zoll, they did have a one battery system with an extended battery life, which did drastically reduce the rate. So if you go to the next page, like I talked about, the American Heart Association, their CPR and emergency care is to minimize interruptions in CPR. So we want to, if we do have to start CPR on somebody, we don't want to try to stop. We don't want to stop if we don't have to. Obviously, there are times we have to move the patient, adjust the patient, but we want to try to do compressions as efficient as possible. They do have that see-through CPR capability that I talked about, which is huge. There's no other monitor on the market that can do that. So while we are doing those compressions, we can actually see the underlying rhythm of those patients and treat accordingly with that. There's two other. If you look at that last picture on the bottom right there, it shows the depth, rate, release, and PPI. What those numbers are, this is unique to this monitor as well. It measures the depth indicator, so there's a adapter on the pads that's monitoring these patients, and when we're doing chest compressions, it makes sure we're doing the right depth, because there's a certain depth you could be doing, not pushing not enough or pushing too far and harming the patients more. Shows the rate, and then there's a release. There's a white line on there. What that shows is as you're doing adequate compressions, it makes sure you release, because sometimes people get worked up or getting a rhythm and they're not releasing, letting that heart have some recoil, and that's just as harmful as not doing a CPR at all in those patients. And the last one is a perfusion indicator. That's a diamond that it just shows that the patient's getting good perfusion level. It's so that you want that triangle to be bigger, and that way you know that patient's perfusing and you don't have a whole lot of idle time for CPR. The other big advantage for us is we don't transport, so we are carrying our monitors wherever we go, along with our other equipment. So the current weight for the new LifePak monitor is 20 pounds, and the current monitor for the Zoll is 12 pounds. So that's about an 8-pound difference right now just in those monitors. And I believe this monitor weighed out is about 18 to 19 pounds right now is the current one that we have. So, and the last, for the monitor comparison, that just goes over some other facts. Obviously, you can disregard the Philips because they are no longer in the market, but it just goes over the size comparison, the weight. Again, they're military rated for their drop test. The operating temperature is a little bit greater. We get a 0 degrees. All of them operate at freezing or above. The Zoll will go to 140 and the LifePak's to 113. Hopefully neither are in those temperatures, but you never know. They do have a higher shock standard and the ingress protection. Otherwise, with the, if I did have the PowerPoint going, it was just a brief 1-minute overview video of the Zoll monitor itself. I apologize again that I don't have that. But does anybody have any questions for me?
Alderman Sanderson?
Thank you, Honor. Well, thank you for your presentation. So I'm just curious about, it looks like you guys favor Zoll, and
Yes.
The cost and everything is better, it's lighter.
Mhm.
What about training? How long has Zoll been around as comparison? It's probably pretty good because of military use, but
Yeah.
how long has that been around, and what about, are they going to offer training for you guys? Because it's probably different stuff to learn, right?
Sure. Yeah, I can't give you the exact time frame how long Zoll's been around, but yes, they have been in the military. They do have a tendency to be on the flight apparatus, like your flight medics carrying, because they are lighter equipment and everything's weight based with those. As for training, both companies they do offer in-servicing, so they will come into each shift and give us an ample amount of time until everyone's comfortable with it. Nope, there's no cost to that. Both companies provide that for free of charge. That comes with it.
So could I entertain a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion from Alderman Sanderson, second by Alderman Frank. Questions and comments, Alderman Snow.
So what about supplies for it?
Yep. So the way it works now is if we do use any equipment, it gets replaced with Lifeline. The one charge we would have would be our pads, and I was going to talk to a Swedish American hospital in Belvidere, because probably 90 to 95% of any type of arrest that we have will go in town here, and then they would hopefully be more likely to stock that. So then what we do is we replace our equipment there, and then they in turn bill the patient for those pads.
So they would carry the pads?
Yeah, yes. Yep.
And then the other question is, you talk about being able to download information, and that sounds all well and good until we have to buy the software at $20,000.
Yep, no, there's no charge. The software is included with that. And it's something you can just download and put on our current existing computers that we have now, so.
Alderman Freeman?
Okay, so these are, when you guys are first responders and you beat the ambulance there, it's for your paramedic team, correct?
Yes, yeah, we carry the same equipment as what the ambulance does, we just don't transfer.
Okay, I've often wondered this, whether it be the ambulance or you guys, I don't know, do these things have like a Wi-Fi type thing? Like, say my 81-year-old mother has a heart attack in her front yard and her neighbor calls 911 and you get there and she's non-responsive, but she has assigned DNR.
Okay.
So how do you guys tap into like the hospital electronic records for something like that, or you just go ahead and do what you got to do and how does that?
It's two parts to that. I'm going to answer the DNR part separate. With that, there's nothing to do with the monitors. The people actually have to have the physical piece of paper on them. If they do not have that paper, an authorized copy signed by the doctor, then we do have to contact our medical control, which is St. Anthony's Hospital, to get approval to not do any care or to follow those orders. So we're bound by that piece of paper. As of right now, there's nothing electronic that they do. I know everything's kind of going that way, but as of now, they actually have to have that paper with them. And the second question for both monitors, they do have Bluetooth and wireless technology, but what that's for is when we take a picture of their heart, if say maybe somebody's having a heart attack, because this isn't just for somebody that's not breathing, if for some, maybe having a heart attack or chest pain, we can take a picture of their heart, and then we can actually transmit and send that to the hospital. So if they are having a heart attack, they can get the appropriate team ready to go for when, because it's the time from the time of call to time when they get in the operating room is critical for that, so.
Anybody else? Alderman Porter?
Just one quick question. I was just curious, how long, just on average, does it take Lifeline to get there after you guys arrive?
It's usually if they're around, it's within minutes. Yeah, so it's.
Is there anybody else? Yes, Alderman Stevens.
Do any of these have the underlying diagnosis? Like I remember some of them had that would tell you whether you had AFib, a heart block, or none of that, or.
Yeah. Both monitors do provide that. They will give you a readout. So what he's saying is if somebody may have a first degree heart block, which is a condition they could have, it'll actually spell it out. It's kind of like has like a little thesaurus in it. It can kind of interpret it for you to kind of guide you in that right direction. They both have that capability.
Okay, and Zoll has been around a long time. When we bought these originally, Zoll had been around as long as Physio Control, so they're both dang good units.
Anybody else? But the real question is, can it make a decent cup of coffee?
Yeah, you can give it a shot. I don't think we're going to get out of that. But.
We need to clarify the motion that your recommendation is the purchase of the Zoll equipment. Is that clarified? Yes. Okay, is everybody good with that? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sounds unanimous to me.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your presentation. Yep. Alderman Snow.
To address Alderman Freeman's question, the DNR, my brother, when he was passing away from cancer, they had to post it on the outside of his, in this case, a trailer, so that when people showed up, they'd see that. Obviously, that sounds like something that could be done at somebody's residence, but the other thing is, would that be something that would be able to be tied in with the 911 that ties into that address so that they would have that information?
The only way they'd know up at 911 is if that person actually called them up there, and if they decided that'd be working something with dispatch and entering that in their computer when it did come up. So it's, and again with the DNR, we have to honor their wishes, and that's the whole point of the paperwork. If for some reason if the person signs that DNR and we get on scene, the person that signed it, if they're competent and have a right mind, they can null and void that DNR as well. So it's. But somebody else.
Whoever has the power of medical attorney in cases too can also avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They must certainly mind.
And just to expound on what Alderman Snow was saying about, the trailer, I know when my mother was in Shadley, they used to, isn't it pretty standard to have people post that on the refrigerator, some common place?
More or less called the vial of life. They put their medical information on a fridge in case they're unable to talk or respond to us, yeah.
Alderman Stevens.
Now, years ago, the DNRs were a watermelon colored, entirely different, so you're looking for paperwork. Are they still that way?
Still like a salmon color.
Salmon, okay. So that when you're
Watermelon,
rummaging through the
salmon,
paperwork, salmon watermelon, so that when you're rummaging through the paperwork and you've got a pile like this and they're all white, salmon shows out.
Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Okay, I think we're.
Thank you again.
Thank you for
Sorry I
your
scared everybody out of the room.
presentation.
That's a good thing, so.
Under B this evening, we have Fire Department garage door replacement. Chief, are you doing the garage door replacement?
Yes, sir, and thank you.
Okay, have at it.
The Belvidere Fire Department is requesting to replace the apparatus bay garage doors, 2 of them altogether, at station number 1. The present doors are mismatched, pieced together from different door model styles, and one is even uninsulated by today's standards. We're really proud of our building down there, and we seek to continue to renovate and upgrade as we are able. Recently, we've done the tuck pointing on the building, and that's all complete now, with all new windows in the building as well. And by replacing our 2 bay doors, the exterior renovation would be complete. I received the following proposals from garage door installation companies. I have one from Ackerson Brothers for $4,741. And then I also have one from Crops Door Service for $5,314. I would recommend approval of the proposal from Ackerson Brothers for the installation of new garage doors at station number 1 in the amount of $47.41. This building upgrade will be paid from budgeted line item 1-5-220-6010.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Alderman Sanderson, second by Alderman Frank. Questions or comments, further discussion? Hearing none. Alderman Porter.
One quick question. I'm just curious. Are these high-speed doors that open like faster than a normal door?
No, they're not. No, just regular doors.
Any other questions or comments?
Just
Alderman
a
Sanderson.
comment, Your Honor, as long as I've been here since '97, I can't remember you guys replacing these doors or anything, so I'm glad you're getting around to it, and I appreciate the upkeep you're doing. Thanks.
Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments? Alderman Stevens?
Did we vote on the AEDs or not? I don't remember.
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
did.
did. They
Okay.
were approved unanimously, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Did you not voice your opinion as an aye? Okay, give me an aye now, so we'll make sure that we were, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is unanimously approved. Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything for the good of the order this evening? Hearing nothing, I'll entertain.
So the annexation portion pushed for a month, but did the special use that's supposed to be coming up push a month because of the annexation agreement?
The special use has to come after the pre-annexation agreements, so yes. You
So-
can't do the zoning if it's not pre-annexed to the city.
Okay, so everybody that thinks they're gonna come 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now is,
Everybody needs to check on, when it's scheduled on the agendas, when we get it rescheduled, so. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Motion to adjourn? Move. Second? Alderman Reckman. We are now adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to disappoint you. We anticipated a meeting until 10 or 11 tonight, so, at least, so.
And it's because they thought it was at 7? It's because they thought it was at